Hey everybody, it's me, Russ.
Yeah!
Record show 2026. What year is it? Jeez. It's getting up there. And of course, Jade comes in. Jade's coming in hot. She smells the video coming on. She can smell a video recording like catnip. Can't you? She pretends to be disinterested, but she's actually wants to stir up drama and be a whole part of this thing. So, you know, I let her complain, do her thing. Just all part of the entertainment industry. A little radio beer. Once again, I've been sticking with the brand. I know. It's cheap beer. It's fine. It's nostalgic. It's nostalgic. And it costs less. Less filling. So I'm fine with that. All right. So this year, you know, I didn't even go to the record show last year at all. Like 2025 Northwest Record Show, I didn't attend either the spring or the fall record shows. But this time, it was more of a community thing that kind of, you know, got me going down there. And I made friends with Kimbo. You know, we were all hanging out there at Record Store Day, Black Friday, and I was texting with Kimbo about a local record store here. And he asked if I was going to the record show, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. I think it was like the day before or something like that. And then I was like, I don't know. And then I watched Mazzy's, he did it 45, he reached 45 trillion subscribers or something like that. So they did a live stream, and it was cool to see Mark and Elise. Mark Wald had a channel. He still has a channel. It's been a while since they've done a video. But, you know, I used to enjoy his channel. He's from Portland, you know, they come up and do the record show every year. And, of course, Coffee Dave's going to be there, you know, and the whole gang. Amy from, the Whatnots. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, I'll go down there and, you know, see the peeps and hang out. All us record nerds. It's a good vibe, right? Joey, Callie, of course, Joey's gonna be there. And, you know, we're all kind of weirdos, and you know, you get around your friends and you start talking about records or vinyl or physical media, and they all eyes glaze over and they start looking at their phone. But it's like, you know, this is a place where we can gather as fellow record nerds and you know, in community. So here's what I got. I'm going to share. I was there for a while, you know, shopping around and looking for deals, because that's another thing about the record show is that one of the discouraging things for me has been price. There's just a lot of vendors, you know, and it's cool to see people. Also, I know some of the vendors. You know, Frank from Fat Cat. I've known Frank for like a decade at least. And Tim, you know. Tim's a guy I met just driving around doing my job. I see this sign that says yard sale, only record, no, garage sale. That's what it was. It's a big green, you know, day glow sign. Garage sale, only records. And there's an arrow. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be late for my next job. I stopped in there and didn't have time to shop. I think I bought a Beatles record that's up in here. And, you know, Tim and I became friends. I see him at all the record shows. So, anyway, I'll get to it. Here's one I got. This was at Tim's place, by the way. This was only $6. You know, I'll start with the best. Start with the best material as far as finds at the record show. This record is amazing. Really enjoyed this. Dana and I both enjoyed it. It sounds amazing. It was $6. It's a double LP. The first LP is a live show, and it's a gatefold. There he is. There's Little Richard. I mean, you gotta love Little Richard. He's like back in the 1950s. This, you know, young, energetic, flamboyant black man, you know, with questionable sexual orientation, hits the stage with a song called Tutti Frutti. and the whole freaking country just loses its mind. At that time, I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. This guy's amazing. What's the song Tutti Frutti about? Who cares? It freaking makes you get up and dance, makes you feel good, puts rock and roll down in your soul bones. We all love that. So there he is, Little Richard. We spun that last night, had a great freaking time listening to that record. And I can't believe I found this one in March. So again, I'm gonna, I guess I'll talk about price a little bit. I'm used to going to like Daybreak a lot. Daybreak is, it's on a main thoroughfare, just off a few blocks, and the prices are amazing. And so just thinking about, so Daybreak pops into my head when I go to these record shows. It's like I could find that at Daybreak for $1. It's like $20 or something like that. And this was another one. So this was from the neighbor of Tim, and Tim had a buddy there that had like one table next to Tim. I think Tim had like 2 tables or something like that. And this guy had one table, and everything was half off, right? So this was $10, and it's March, so I was really happy to find this during St. Patrick's Day. It's just a week away now or something like that. Dropkick frickin' Murphys, baby. I love me some Dropkick Murphys. I think this is the first. Do I have another vinyl? No, I got CDs of Dropkick Murphys. I don't think I had any vinyl of theirs. So this was an excellent find right here. Look at that, huh? Hi, the green there, yeah. That's probably a horrible Irish accent. I know a guy who's Irish. He's deep Irish accent. Peter Rollins. I haven't talked to Peter in a long time. He's an interesting cat. He's a philosopher. Grew up during the Troubles in Ireland. So super, super interesting dude. Makes a living at his craft, his art. Anyway, put that in there later. All right, let's put this aside. And record number 3. So Joey Callio turned me on to these comps, compilation records. This is Pebbles, and I thought this was really cool. These are like a bunch of original punk records from the psychedelic 60s. So it's all mostly like garage music and amazing stuff. I mean, this is hit and miss, but there's a lot of tracks on this record. Each side has about 8 songs. And I think I played some of those songs during the driving stuff on the last when I was editing the last video. I didn't get Jerry in there. Mazzy was recording Jerry, and for some reason I thought I recorded Jerry. Jerry the fisherman. He was in my record store day video. Jerry's an amazing guy. I'm like, where's Jerry in these videos? Anyway, you'll see him you saw him in the records show video. He's a great cat. So that's all the records I got. I got 3 records. I got some more. I got some CDs, so I got that coming. And then I got some more records, but not from the record show. Just a lot of digging, a lot of hunting, a lot of finding stuff. And you saw my digging stuff. I think I spent, it's like a 45-minute video, and there's a big chunk of that it was digging. And I don't know if you saw the prices on that. I think I made the video 4K, but I'm not sure if I set my phone to 4K, so I don't know if you could see all that. You have to. It's a lot of work. I get it. But just if you're gonna sell used records, I don't mind a VG copy. I don't mind some clicks and clocks, and pops, and sputters. But if you're going to try and sell that stuff for $20, I ain't buying. All right. I found these. This is Van Halen bootlegs. CD bootlegs, which is interesting. This is from Magic Mountain. It's a live show for Magic Mountain. We listened to last night too, and the sound quality is not great. I'll be honest, but it's still freaking cool. This is, I don't know if that's accurate. It's probably accurate though, that they would be playing Six Flags Magic Mountain in 1977, and that's something that was, I believe they pioneered that. Six Flags did when they first opened. They started having pretty big acts, coming to Six Flags and doing concerts, and then Disneyland started doing it because, there's all these people who are going to Magic Mountain to see. You imagine you're walking to your freaking roller coaster or something like that, and Van Halen is playing over here, running with the devil. You're about ready to get on some monstrous, scary, ride. But this is, as far as bootlegs go, look at that. You got the CD, it's printed on the CD like this, and the track listing and stuff. And then it's weird, I looked at the date, and it's from 2012. It's like, they've dug up this material from somewhere, and then in 2012 they finally released it. So there you go. Went into my radio voice there a minute. So it's fine. This is another one. There's Dave Lee Roth in a questionable situation. So there he is in a towel. It looks like he's wearing handcuffs, and the cops are next to him, right? And it says Van Halen, Dave is back, rarest covers and demos. And now there's a story behind this CD too, because I got it home. I was showing Dana what I got, and I opened the CD and I'm like, oh man. You ever do that where you buy a CD and then you get it home and the cover is not what the CD is? See that? It says Olympic Sound, Beer Drinkers, etc. 1996 Beer Drinkers film-focused music from Escape Sound Studio Limited. So I thought, what the hell is this? I guess it's not Van Halen. I put it in the CD player over there, and it's David Lee Roth. And again, there he is. There's his hands. They focused in on his wrist being clenched up. It says fan club use only. See that? And it says that on the front too, or on the back. Here's the track listing. It says fan club use only. And then it says obviously bootleg. Because they must have told these people, oh yeah, we're not making any bootlegs here. But this is the track listing. It's all on this CD. So it's the weirdest bootleg I've ever seen. I've never seen a bootleg like this. Because they spent a lot, look at that. The cover art in the back is there's a lot of stuff going on. Somebody spent some time on that. And then the CD has no mention of Van Halen or David Lee Roth whatsoever. So, I don't know. Cool things you find. This is one of those treasures from a record show, This is something hard to find, in the world. I've never seen this before. If you've seen this, maybe you're from LA or somewhere and you've seen this around, I'd be interested in finding out about that. Because that was quite the... What the hell is this? And it doesn't sound great. It really doesn't. But it's still kind of cool. I spent $5 on those two CDs. And, I feel bad, but I don't, right? It's cool, but it's it sounds like shit. Rest people are making money off Van Halen music, and the Van Halen's not getting paid. Van Halen's got enough money. I think they'll be fine. So there's all these, conflict going on. Speaking of conflict, I went to Daybreak the next day, which was today. Yeah. No, it was Monday. It wasn't today. I had to think about that. Time gets strange in my head sometimes. Yesterday, no, it was today. I had some time in between jobs. I had 3 jobs today, but they're all pretty slow. I'll do another little video. I went to Easy Street Records too and took some pictures and stuff. So that was fun. But I stopped at Daybreak first because I finished a job. So sometimes when I book jobs, it's hard to tell how long things are going to take. And so I think to myself, that's going to take 2.5 hours. And it turned out taking about a half hour, if that. And I was done, and I'm out of there. I billed my 1 hour minimum, and went to a couple record stores. So here's what I got at Daybreak. I found that for what did I pay for this? $3. John Lee Hooker, 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, and 1 beer. Of course, George Thorogood made this song a big hit back in the 80s. I think the live version of this was the hit too, of his live record. This is actually 2 songs. So when George Thorogood covered it, he actually covered, was it like Landlady Blues or something like that? On here it just says 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer. Landlord Blues, or I can't remember the exact name of it. But there were 2 different songs. So 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer was the secondary song to that. Like there was 2 songs that he made 1 song and then just called it 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer. But this has got a bunch of other stuff on it, so look forward to spinning this on the silver spinner. You got a silver spinner in your house? Probably do. I do. Silver platters is what spins on the silver spinner. This one is funny. I got this for $1. And when we were in Vegas, I guess one of the cheapest live shows, one of the longer residencies in Vegas that you don't hear about a lot, is these artists. And I bought their CD, and you see ads for it a lot. And I guess it's one of the shows that it's pretty affordable to see. We didn't see it. We thought about it, but we didn't. We were doing other things. But it was Blue Man Group. There they are. They made a CD. Blue Man Group. It's more of a visual concept, I was thinking. But here they are. They each have a chihuahua in the photo there, right there on the album cover. So, I mean, that instantly sold me. I had to buy it. You're going to put a chihuahua in your arms while you're making music. Sold. All right. Dollar bin stuff. This is pretty cool. Dan and I enjoy some Gene Vincent. It was $1. It's got all the cool hits on it. $1 record. Bebopalula. Race with the Devil. Say Mama, and many, many more. Blue 57. Get it! Get it! There's some car driving music. Car freaking engine hopping, gas burning, oil burning, freaking rock and roll, man. Love that stuff. I'm a car guy. You combine cars and rock and roll. They had that Little Deuce Coupe by the Beach Boys there. Did you see that? That wax? I have to still look in here and see if I already have it. I might, but that's a pretty clean copy if I do. I was tempted to pick that up. Glenn Fry. I know there's somebody out there who hates Glenn Fry. I like Glenn Fry. I like the Eagles. They did the solo stuff. Glenn Fry. He's. I don't know all of it. Don't tell me what he's done. I don't want to know that he was into Ponzi schemes or he was, in the Epstein files. I don't want to know. Just let me enjoy my Glenn Fry in peace. Smuggler's Blues. You remember that song back in the 1980? I have a weird connection with that song. Not going to go into it. Here we go. The next one. So I got Gary Wright. I keep hearing Mike Kelly out there talk about Gary Wright. And so I picked up some Gary Wright. Some cool. Gary Wright, most famous for Dreamweaver. You right? Everyone knows that song. He also played keyboard on George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, or This Too Shall Pass, or It's All Going Away, or I forget the name of the album, something like that. But yeah, Gary Wright played keyboards on there. As you can tell, I'm a huge George Harrison fan. So comedy records. I enjoy some comedy records. Dana does too. And these were fun. Just, you know, for the record, I seriously haven't smoked weed in like 30 years. All right. I had to break up with Mary Jane. I had a kind of a toxic relationship with her, and so we just had to, you know, we don't talk anymore or anything. So I had to, you know, it took a while. It took a while to get off of Mary Jane, but I finally did it. But anyway, George Carlin. This is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen this record before. It is Toledo Window Box, and on the back you can see in Toledo that he had the, you know, it was like that, and then eventually cops show up, and you got that going on. I think my favorite, again, like comedians usually start with their best material. It's been a long day. Goofy shit. That's the funniest one. Boom, right out of the gate. Funniest set of jokes. And speaking of the devil's lettuce, the herb, right? Mary Jane, Cheech and Chong, Las Chicoles. Now, there's something really cool about this record. This is part of why I picked it up. You go like this. So, if you've ever seen the movie, or the movies, right? So you see the door, and then it's like behind the door panel, right? You got, there you go. And then, of course, in the back, on the back side, there's the track listing and something, some canoodlings going on, or something in the window there. But I thought this was really fun. We haven't spun this one yet. We listened to the George Carlin one earlier. It's okay. You know, I like George Carlin, but there's better records of his. But I'm a big George Carlin fan. But this is funny too. Cheech and Chong. Cheech, and they're still alive, both these guys, right? I think I put that in wrong, but there you go. All right. So that's all I got, man. Oh, I got a Dawkins cassette tape. I'll share that when I'm driving around sometime. That was a fun find too. Dana, I found a Dawkins cassette tape. I forgot to bring that in. You like Dawkins?
Yeah.
We grew up in the 80s, baby. Crank up some Dawkins. Have a good time. Crack up some. We had to find someone to buy us some Rainier beer when we were underage, you know. It's a whole thing. But thanks for watching. Appreciate you. And there's a little record store wisdom there for you. If you know a local record store that's got records cheaper than the record show, you know, I don't know. You see the guys at the record show and you're like, okay, buddy, here you go. Here's $50 for, you know, Herb Albert. I don't know. It depends on who you are. It really does.